Hello YouTube, Glenn Anderson here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. So today's accumulation week 2 day 3. First of all, I would like to say if you're new to the channel and you like strongman content, please consider subscribing and please like the video and let me know what you think in the comments. So for those that have been following my channel for a while, you'll notice that I've started doing a lot of voiceover commentaries for these. I'm quite inspired actually by the Squat Everyday guy. I think his name's Ivan Juric or something. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly actually, but I watch his stuff actually, and he's quite informing and entertaining, and he puts some good stuff out really, and a lot of people like to follow his videos, myself included. So he's basically squatting every day. I believe he's on about day 1150 or something, so we're talking well over 3 years, so that is a lot. I have tried squatting every day myself in the past really, but because I do strongman, obviously I have other considerations and can't just squat every day. Maybe one day when I stop doing strongman I might consider doing that. But for now, it's not really an option or something I'm even considering. So with today's squats, I'm using a 12-second eccentric. So we're up to 190 kilos now. This is 30 stone. So I start at the top here, and then I very slowly lower the bar, taking a full 12 seconds. If you've been following my videos, you've probably seen me do this before. Last time I went up to 160 and that was really easy. So today I'm doing 190. Lowering with a 12-second eccentric makes the lift much more harder than if I was to do it at a regular speed. So here we're doing some drop sets. So I've now dropped 40 kilos to 150 and I'm doing 5 reps, but I'm still doing slow eccentrics. But instead of doing a 12-second eccentric, I'm lowering the bar in about 3 seconds. So still fairly slow, but a lot quicker than I was doing it before. I've got to admit, I really hate these drop sets actually. I love the build up to the 1 rep max, but then having to do the drop sets, I'm not a fan of really, but I do it because it's absolutely necessary. You've got to get that volume in. So the plan was 4 sets of 5, which I did. 3-second eccentric, 4 sets of 5. So we've got the second drop set here, and I'm going to do 4 of these. So 150 kilos, a little bit more than my body weight actually. I've actually lost 2 pounds last week, so at the moment I'm weighing approximately 146.5 kilos or 323 pounds. I'm trying to drop a little bit of weight, but not too much. I want to be strong enough to, heavy enough to be strong, but like I say, not overly big, where it affects my conditioning. So this is the 3rd one now. I've got to admit my legs actually felt like car jacks after this, really. This is actually harder than it looks. It may seem easy watching me do that, but it was actually, it felt harder than it looked. Let's just say that. So on the 4th and final set, I just elected to go a tiny little bit higher. So I went to 152. So this weight is exactly 24 stone in old money, or 336 pounds. So notice as well, I'm only using a belt, no knee sleeves or anything like that really, and none of these are to failure. Even when I did the 190 kilos, I could have been got a bit higher, but next week I'm going to be doing slow eccentrics, but I'm going to reduce to 10 seconds, so I'll probably be using about 200 I reckon there, and then the week after that reducing to a 7-second eccentric, and then after that I'll start doing pauses. So they're going to be brutal, but I'm still looking forward to doing them. So after this I'm moving on to my flow press now. So I'm doing 7 sets of 5, starting at 85 kilos. So it is 1 clean and 5 presses, but I'm strict pressing all of my presses like so. I do not put my head through until the last repetition, and the reason for that, quite simply, as I've spoken to before, is just to keep into that groove of just keeping my head back and just getting used to keeping my head back and going through the repetitions and just building that skill. Everything that I'm doing today, really, especially these presses, none of it is really heavy for me. It's all quite light stuff, but I'm just getting the volume in now, hence accumulation, and just practicing my technique. So with I could have kept the weight the same here, but I elected to just increase 2.5 kilos on every single one. Again, I'm not using a belt, not using wrist wraps or elbow sleeves. Next week I'll be doing 5 sets of 5, and again just increasing that weight ever so slightly. So today we're up to 92.5 at the moment. I believe I finished on 100, and like I say, it's all quite easy, even 100 really. So we've got 95 kilos here, just under 15 stone. So just cleaning it once and then strict pressing it. Again, this is all quite light and easy. I'm not taxing myself here. This is just like I say, getting the reps in, getting the practice in. So yeah, this is 97.5 kilos. So yeah, the 7th and final set was 100. So 7 sets of 5 this week. So next week we'll drop the volume a little bit, do 5 sets of 5, but I'll try and end on a higher weight. Today I ended on 100 kilos. So next week we'll just see how it goes really. I might end on 105. Could be 110 really, but again I want to do it in a fashion where it's easy for me. Shouldn't really be any grinding at all. If I have to grind through it, then it was too hard, and there's no grinding involved here. It's all nice, light and easy. So moving on now to the Swiss bar floor press. I like to do log as much as possible and use a neutral grip because it's a lot easier to recover from. Even though I do strongman, I try to stay away from axle as much as I can because it just hurts the wrists. So here, notice my legs are dead straight. So I'm trying to negate any leg drive whatsoever and just try and make this all upper body focused. And just pure pressing power really, just trying to rely on that really. So again, no elbow sleeves, no wrist wraps. I'm trying to make this as hard as possible. I'm pausing each rep as well, and that's no problem at all. I could have done many more reps there, but again, just trying to, oops, I swung myself round about there. Okay, so just did 3 sets of 3, so this is the 3rd and final, staying at the same weight now, 104.5. And on this 3rd one I'll do a nice long extra pause. So this is all really easy. I'm only on the 2nd week, so again, keeping it light. So it's February the 1st today, and take a look at that. The gym is pretty much empty today really. It was really busy in January. Everyone has probably given up on their New Year's resolutions of wanting to get in shape now. Always happens every year. The gym always starts to get a bit empty around February. Most people have given it up. So afterwards I did these loo raises, 3 sets of 12. This was the 2nd one. So on the 1st set I did 5 kilos each, and then on this one I'm doing 7.5 kilos in each hand. On the 3rd set I did do the same, but I only filmed this one and only set. Notice at the top I'm making sure the dumbbells touch slightly so that I've got the full range of motion there. So nice good shoulder stability exercise to do here. I find these boring. Well, I do kind of like them, I suppose, but you've got to do the boring stuff as well really. So here I'm doing some rope tricep push downs, and yes, I'm purposely leaning forward into this to use more weight. Notice at the bottom I'm pulling the rope apart, so 2 sets of 20. The 1st set was 16.75 kilos, and that was too easy for me, so I jumped up a couple of pins and went to 18.75 kilos was the 1st set, but I jumped up at 5 kilos and went to 23.75 for 20, so that was that. Okay, moving on now, concept 2 rower. So today's goal is to do 3 sets of 500 metres. So this is my first set of 500 metres. Trying to do it as quick as I can. And this first set, I believe, took me 1 minute and 45 seconds. I think the best I've ever done on 500 metres is 1 minute 30. That's my best. But I've only just started doing Concept 2 rowing again for the first time in a few years, so I'm just getting used to it again. So a couple of weeks ago I did do 2k and it took me just over 8 minutes, 8 minutes 7. But today I'm just doing 3 sets of 500. So we're just halfway through. This is still the first set. This is my first set of 500 here. And I took 1 minute 45 on this. So the mistake I made with this one, really, I kind of underestimated it. I just really went hard, and I think by the time I got to 350, 400, I was kind of like gassed out, really, so I was a bit slow towards the end. I should have just paced myself a little bit, really, because I did do better on the second set. Trying to get my conditioning in now. As I said in previous videos, I'm really taking that seriously now because I'm sick of being a fat bastard. You know, it's not fun being 146 plus kilos, really. And fitness is where I sometimes let myself down, especially in comps. So trying to work on that. Always got to make time for fitness. You know, a lot of people focus on muscles, but they forget the good old heart muscle. So it's very important to train that. So there we are, 500 in 145. So that's the first set done. Now we move on to the second set. So here I'm doing exactly the same, but I'm trying to pace myself. Notice that I've got the lever up to a full 10, and I think that's a good idea. You don't want it any lower than that, because otherwise you're just making it harder for yourself. You're just pissing in the wind, basically. So I always have it on full strength 10. So I was quicker on this second set. I did manage the second 500 metre run in 1 minute and 40 seconds. And I think I just did better on, even though it was my second set, I think I did better because I just made sure that I paced myself this time, really. I'm wearing a Fitbit as well, so I know how many calories, because this thing can't, although it's got calories on there, it can't really tell me because it hasn't got any data on me. It doesn't know my age, weight, or anything like that, really. So I think it's just arbitrary numbers, but I've got a Fitbit on my wrist that I'm wearing, so I know what my heart rate is, I know how many calories I've burnt, etc, etc. So I'm keeping track of that. So yeah, I just paced myself better on this one and managed in 1 minute 40. So I was 5 seconds faster on my second set than I was on my first set. I did do a third set and it took me 2 minutes 29. I was much slower on that, but I just dogged it on the last one, really. I was out of breath after this. I was really gasping for breath, and I'm only resting 2 minutes in between sets. So I'm doing 500 metres, resting 2 minutes, doing another 500 metres and then resting another 2 minutes, and 2 minutes isn't a lot of rest, really. So when I do this, my average pace for all three, I worked out, was 1 minute 58. So when I do this again, I will try to better this. But yeah, there we are, just over 500. So I did 500 this time, 1 minute 40. So the third set I didn't film because I was much slower. 2 minutes 29 on that third one. Okay, so just finishing up on some dead hangs now with a pronated grip. Bit disappointing with this, if I'm being honest. Because the other day I used just 4 fingers and I managed 57 seconds. This time I'm using thumbs, I'm using my whole hands, and I only managed 51, so I don't know what's going on there. And I'm 2 pounds lighter than last week, so for some reason I only managed 51 seconds today, so a bit disappointing, but there it is. Okay, so that's the end of the video now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. So the next training session will probably be Friday, and I'm going to be doing some stiff-legged deadlifts, some yoke, some farmers and some sandbags. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on Friday for the next video.